It's all about children's portraiture, and today we get to learn from one of the best. Hello everyone, I'm Melissa New and welcome to this week's episode of Framed. She's a photographer, a mom, a wife, a business owner, and she just launched her very own clothing line. And today we get to learn just how she balances it all. Let's do this. Angie Monson.
Hello.
In the house. Here she is. How are you?
Good.
Good. Oh, hey, little mama. Come here. Come here. Oh my goodness, Chloe. It's
That's so
gorgeous. Angie, who's this?
This is Chloe, my daughter. She's gonna be 6 tomorrow, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 tomorrow. Well, happy birthday. Say hi to the cameras.
Hi.
And you
She
are
thinks
a
that's the
cute
camera.
little artist. Look at this. So talented, just like her mama, right?
Chloe, can you go sit at the table and color some more? Thank you.
I want to see what else you can draw, okay? This is your studio.
Yep. Been here for about a year.
And last time, actually last season, first season, we took Susanna Audet in your last studio.
Yeah.
How is it changing?
I've had 3 studios. So
Oh, wow.
the last one kind of, it was hard to leave because I was there for 3 years. But this one is nice because it's laid out so much better, and we all have, we share the studio I share with 5 photographers. We all have our own office space, which is really nice. So we can be here working when other people are shooting. So it's just laid out better, and there's not as many stairs. So that's nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
You need stairs.
Not me.
Well, what's cool about you is, first of all, you're a mom. We just saw one of your 3 kids,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You were up 3 hours of last night, didn't sleep well.
Yeah.
You're a photographer. You run a business with handling other tenants. You have your children's clothing line.
Yep.
You're the breadwinner of your family. And you're supposed to be a mom.
Yeah. It's crazy.
How do you do this?
I delegate a lot. And people ask me that all the time. And at first, when I was running my business, I was very I wanted to be in control and make everything perfect. But I've gotten to a point where I'm like, you know what? I have to let some of it go. I have to let it go. You know what I mean? So my husband watches the kids a lot of the time, which is it's been definitely you struggle at first because you're reversing roles. You know what I mean? But we've gotten our system. Me and my husband were talking about it yesterday, and I'm like, we're good partners. We're figuring it out, because it's hard. It's not natural for me to be working all the time and be away from my kids. Because as a mom, you want to be with your kids and you're worried about them. And men, I'm not trying to generalize, but men are just more like my kids look like scoundrels when he watches them. They have snarly hair, and they're barely fed. They don't wear shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's starting to learn the ropes and how to do it and stuff like that. So it's been definitely a trial, but a good thing at the same time. So.
Definitely have a style about you. When you look at a picture, you know it's Angie Monson's. And obviously people have really tried to replicate that because you have such a distinct style. But tell us about you and your whole photography journey. Where did it start? You know, why photography? We were talking a little bit ago how you feel like you were meant to be a photographer.
Yeah.
So talk about that.
My dad gave me a Pentax film camera when I was 13, and my sister was a model. And so like I would always like try to put lots of makeup on and, you know, like try to, you know, so photography just kind of fed into that, you know, like the fashion part of it, you know? And so me and my friends would like dress up and put way too much makeup on and like go pose like seductively next to brick walls. It was kind of embarrassing. Like when I look back at the pictures,
I've done it.
It's really scary. Yeah. So, but it was fun, you know? And then I started to learn the more technical side of it. And so all during high school, I took like photography classes and I was just really into it, you know, and then I always like, me and my sisters would dress up and we, you know, go take pictures and stuff. But, so that's kind of where it started. And I've always loved fashion, always loved magazines, all that kind of stuff. So it kind of just all went hand in hand. And then, so I wanted to go to school for photography in college, but everyone in my life was like, you can't make money at photography. Like that's a hobby, you know, you should really think about majoring in something else. And so I, you know, me being 18, I'm just like, okay, like, you know, all these people know what they're talking about. So I'm just going to do that. So I got my degree in psychology and I worked with at-risk teenagers who are just fun human beings to work with, you know, they don't want help. So it was really hard. Like my cup was never filled back up ever. And now that they're older, it's different. You know, they really did listen and stuff like that, but it was hard work. Wow. And so during all that time I was still shooting and just shooting for fun. And then I was like, you know what, I'm going to shoot some weddings just, you know, just to see how it goes. And so I got a Bronica medium format camera and I was just like shooting, you know, and I'd like shoot, like I'd charge them, you know, like I'd shoot 2 rolls of film at their wedding, you know, and I'll just give them the film. And I do miss that. I miss like just going, picking up the film and being like, here you go, you know, because now editing is a lot of work, you know, the expectations are so much higher to make people look like models basically. So I kind of just miss the straight out of camera thing, you know. But anyway, so I did weddings for a little while and then we did in vitro, had the twins, and I was like, I can't work with these at-risk teenagers anymore. Like that, you know, it was a full-time job and I wanted to be at home with my kids. So I was like, and I actually really hated photographing kids at that time. I was just like, yeah, hated it. So I did a couple family sessions while I was pregnant and I'm like, these kids, like, they won't listen. They won't look at me. They're awful. Like, I remember being like, kids are so annoying. And I was pregnant.
Which is so funny because that's what you do now.
I know,
that's
and I actually love photographing kids now because I have my own and you know how to talk to them. And I was just not at that place in my life. I was just like, they're so annoying.
So then how did you get there? How did you get to that point where
you know, I had my own kids and I saw, oh my gosh, look how much you love your own children. And that's what people want. They just want you to capture their own kids, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so once I started I practiced on my kids when they were newborns and, you know, like little. And so I started charging to shoot like families and stuff. And, you know, I just kind of took whatever work I could get, but I was still shooting weddings, you know, for money and stuff like that. But so then I kind of like switched from weddings to kids. I got into digital, which was really hard. Went to some workshops and that changed a lot for me. And then I was so, when the twins were about 1, I was so like, I'd be at my computer because they would nap like 4 hours a day. So those 4 hours, like my house was disgusting, always a mess. Because I was just like glued to my computer trying to figure out Photoshop and editing, and I was so obsessed. You were learning. And I've
been there.
Yeah, and I'm sure when everyone starts, it's like, yeah, it's kind of pathetic how you're like glued to your computer. So anyway, so that's kind of how I got into it, and then I started realizing I can't charge $100 and make money, like, and so then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just start doing prints and doing it kind of the old-fashioned way, because that's how people really, you know, they made money off their prints. So I changed all my pricing, and my first order, like I went into this lady's house, and you know, like she lived in like a gigantic house. So you know, I worked with a boutique, and so she would send me referrals, and so my first print order was like $8,000. And I remember getting in my car and totally crying. Like, I totally lost it. I was like, oh my gosh, like I can do this, you know? Like, it was crazy. Like, I kind of want to cry right now. Like, it's such a huge deal. Why am I crying? Like, seriously.
This is a good moment. It's okay to cry.
Anyways, so, like, I realized, like, I can do this, you know? And all the people that told me I couldn't, like, you know, I'm like, it's kind of like, you know, you just show them, like, anyways, why am I crying? Seriously.
Well, it's cool to think about your journey. I mean, when you talk about it and everything that and you're tired, you're a mom, I can relate.
Yeah.
When we talk about things that are very personal to us, and your story's awesome.
It's,
Because I can
crazy.
relate to it, and I guarantee everyone can relate to that.
Yeah.
Of you pushing your limits, you've worked so hard, and look at what you've created.
And
you
it's
know?
so fun. I'm very, now, and it's funny because before I was like, I hate working sucks. And like, I remember just like never finding my place. And now that I do this, I'm like, I could work, like I can work myself to the bone, like doing this. Like I definitely get burned out, you know, but like I love doing what I do.
So you are shooting your daughter, but a lot of moms say that it's so hard to shoot their own kids.
Yeah.
But for you, she's your muse.
Yeah, she loves getting her picture taken, which I feel really lucky. I feel like God like gave me this gift, you know? So I don't think it's norm. She's not the norm, but I do definitely think that there's certain things and like tips and stuff that help, like to shoot your own kids. So you're like, you can enjoy it and they can enjoy it.
So how do you do that? What are some tips?
So I never set expectations when I go out. I'm just like, let's go have fun. And the only expectations I give them is that they have to wear the clothes I tell them to wear, you know. And then they'll get something. So it's like, I tell my husband, it's a win-win. So if they're good for me during the shoot, then they get something at the end.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like a job, you know. Like kids aren't gonna be motivated to do something unless, you know, there's something in the outcome, you know.
Definitely.
So I always like try to make it really fun for them. Lots of potty humor. You know, we talk about poop all day long. And
She laughs.
I'll have them like act like animals, or I'll do like ridiculous things behind the camera, you know, and stuff. But
So you
know,
make it a fun thing.
Yeah,
so
you
they
make
want
it
to do
fun.
again.
Because if you're
Okay.
yelling at them the whole time, like, no, you need to. Because when it's your own kid, like, of course, like I would never talk to my clients like that, you know.
Right.
So I try to pretend like they're my client. Do you know
Okay.
what I mean? And have
Yeah.
fun with them, make it fun for them, because that's where you'll get the genuine fun laughs,
Yeah.
you know. And I don't know, like she's really easy to like give me the serious, like she knows I'll be like, okay, make a serious face or do this. She knows how to do it, but that's not really normal for all kids, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
But I think if you just don't set expectations too high, because they know what you want from them, and then they just will sabotage it because they don't want to be there.
And then
do you know what I
get
mean?
frustrated that they're not having fun. Okay.
Yeah. So
Well,
I
how
think
do you go ahead?
just having treats too, like when you're there, like Smarties, it's like training a dog. I'm not kidding. Like, so I'm like, every good thing you do, you'll get a Smartie. And it's like I have in my pocket and I just drop them in their mouth, like, you know, when they do something good.
Okay.
And so they get that immediate, like, what's the word?
Return?
Gratification. You know what I mean? Right after, like, kids can't see like 2 hours from now. They need something now.
Yes.
Especially like for 1-year-olds, Smarties save me every time.
Really?
Yeah, so, and just bringing like loud toys and balls. Like with Tate, I bring like a ball that's really soft, and because he's obsessed with sports.
Okay.
And so I'll be like, chuck that ball in my face as hard as you can. You know what I mean? So it's not going to hurt the camera. It's not going to hurt me. And he thinks it's the most hilarious thing ever.
Oh, that's such
So
a good
like just
idea.
like a little
Okay.
soft, like at IKEA they have those soccer balls that are really soft, you know. So I'll just have them like throw it at me, and then they're totally laughing. The mood is light. So then if they're having fun, you know, you're having fun, and it's vice versa.
That is
So.
such good advice. talk about that. When you focus on yourself, you're here in Salt Lake City, where there's a ton of very talented people.
Yeah, there's a lot of amazing photographers here.
Very good photographers and people who love you and have tried to replicate your work, or people that are incredibly original. But I would imagine it would be very competitive here.
Yeah, it is. But you know, like we were talking about earlier, I think I started at a really good time. Like I got into the market before it was flooded. And, you know, I kind of found my niche before everyone else did. Do you know what I mean? And so, like, I wanted to, like, make a living at it. And so I was like, I can't do this, you know, for people that are going to barter or, like, and that's a lot of people that live in Utah. Like, they, you know, a lot of people are, like, trade, you do-it-yourselfers, and it's frustrating, but at the same time, it, like, pushed me to, like, really work harder at it and find a way. Like, there's always a way. Do you know what I mean? So I just kind of got in the right kind of like the right neighborhoods and the right clients, and you know, they tell their friends, and word of mouth is huge. So working with the boutique helped a lot, and I got into that, you know, and now it's like really hard to get into that kind of stuff because there's so many, you know, and there's not a lot of boutiques anymore. They haven't survived, you know, through the economy. So yeah, that kind of helped. But yeah, I think just focusing on myself has been huge. Like I remember when I started, like I would look at other blogs and, you know, you're comparing and you're just, especially with the digital world, it was so different than film. I just felt like, you know, it's all so new. And now, I mean, you can just Google anything and find things. But when I started, like you'd have to go to workshops, or you have to really just do trial and error on, you know, yourself. So, I remember looking at a lot of blogs, and now I just really, I mean, I'm on Facebook and stuff like that, and I feel like that's a huge part of, you know, my job is to, you know, be on Facebook and like posting my work and, you know, and stuff. Yeah, and marketing and stuff. So I think just focusing on what I'm, you know, like what I'm good at, and I think I found my niche too this year. Like I finally was like an aha moment to me. Like I'm good at families. Like, and a lot of people hate shooting families because it's hard work. It's so hard. There's so much going on.
Definitely.
And I think it takes time to get, you know, like I would never say to someone, oh, well, if you're going to start shooting families, yeah, you should expect to be really good at them within a year. No, like it took me a good 5 years to really like learn how to get the connections out of the family, learn how to pose them, learn how to work with the kids, you know, like, and I don't know, it's hard work. So a lot of photographers, and I'm thankful for it, like refer families to me if they don't like to do them, you know? So, and people are more willing to spend more money when it's a family. When it's just shooting their kids, I can understand why people only want to spend a couple $100s, because it's, you know, it's expensive, especially in Utah. People have 4 or 5 kids easily. When you're shooting each kid, or like you want to get more bang for your buck. So to shoot a whole family and then a couple individuals and, you know, the kids together and stuff like that, I can see how they could, you know, be more willing to spend $1,500.
Well, this is interesting because you started out hating families. Not hating families, but hating taking photos of families. And now that's your niche.
Yeah,
that is
I know. Yeah, and I love it. Like, now I look at it. Before I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed. Like I have to get everybody looking at me, and it has to be this perfect photo. And now I'm like, screw it. That is not life at all. That's not reality. You know what I mean? So now I go and I just like kind of hang out with the family for a good 10 minutes beforehand and kind of get to know their personalities, who they are. And you realize like you're there to just capture them as a family and the love they have for each other. And every family is so different, because some families will like throw their kids in the air and just have fun and just be hugging and loving on them, and other people just are really not touchy. You know what I mean? So you have to like be able to feel that out and not push them too far.
And not force them to be something they're not.
That they're not, exactly. Perfect. So I think that I got to that point and I was like, this is a beautiful thing. It's beautiful and I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's cool. Like it's been really exciting this year. I'm like, I don't get nervous to do it anymore. And I remember every time, because you never know what you're gonna get. You get the dad that's a total jerk that shows up, hates it, and it's like, I'm like, dude, can you just like keep it together for an hour, like, and not yell? And you know, like every time they come to the shoot, they've been fighting in the car on the way.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and I'm like, what were you guys fighting about?
So you have to bring a lot of peace. So that psychology background is coming into use.
Yeah. So you know, have to use them together. But yeah, it's funny, like I always joke around, and I think like, you know, part of it's my personality, like working with people and stuff. Like I just love people, and the funny thing is I used to be really shy. Like I've always been the type of person that wants to be in the spotlight, was always scared to be in the spotlight. Really? But now I'm like, I think I've just got more confidence at doing what I do and like feeling like, okay, I'm good at something. You know what I mean? Like,
Angie,
it's taken a while.
You're good at a lot of things. Okay, let's not go there.
You know, it's crazy, like, thinking about back when I started, I just, you know, like, people tell you can't do something, and then you start to believe it yourself, like, yeah, maybe I can't do that, you know, and really, who's to say, like, you can't follow your dreams, really, you know, and as you get older, you learn that, and you just have to try at it every day. That's the thing. Like, when people come to me or come to my workshops, and they're like, I'm just not doing it, and I can't, and I'm like, well, listen to your negative talk, like, you have to like go for your goal, and you have to have like 100% intention. Like every day, go for your goal. You have to do something towards your goal every single day, and no one else is gonna do it for you. You know what I mean? So I think like just I got emotional because it's been a lot of hard work, you know. But the thing is, like, it's been hard work, but I've loved every minute of it. Good. I don't regret any of it. You know what I mean? I never look back and be like, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. It's been, I don't know, I just do what I do and I love it, and I really just try to focus on myself. So.
Good for you.
Should I just go?
Yeah.
I can't like wrap it.
Yo, check it.
Check this.
Framed.
I'm Angie Monson, photographer, just been framed.
Framed Season 3 was brought to you by Bay Photo Lab. Like the music? Special thanks to Triple Scoop Music. Framed Network giveaways are brought to you by B&H. Head to giveaways.framenetwork.com for your chance to win. Find out more about the equipment used in this episode on framenetwork.com.
On the next episode of Framed.
Framed season finale, Whiskey Tango. Roger that.
Boise clearance, Cherokee 6817, Juliet VFR, Nampa, Foxtrot.
Nobody panic. I've got this under control.
You are under control.
Nobody panic.
You're doing well.
Head to FrameNetwork.com and create your passport login to gain exclusive access to Framed and your favorite shows. Only on Flix.